Hey guys, welcome to a video where I'm going to teach you how to breed to either get shiny Pokemon or even get perfect Pokemon with the best IVs in all slots and with the nature and abilities that you desire for that Pokemon. So this is going to be more advanced than my previous breeding guide video, and I hope you guys take in this information and you remember it. So let's quickly run through some of the basics. So we have an EV here. We want to breed an EV to get EV babies that have better stats, better IVs, better natures, better everything, right? So starting out with this one over here, which I caught obviously from the EV Terror Raid battle that's currently live. You'll notice that I have a male Eevee. For Eevees in particular, you should know that the females are way less common than the males, so you probably have a ton of male Eevees as well. Now you can breed an Eevee with a female Eevee, so a male and a female Eevee will breed when they're in the picnic, as you have seen before. Now picnics, they will breed in the picnic regardless of whether you have a sandwich or not, as long as you just AFK some amount of time. Different Pokemon take longer to breed than others. One thing you should know is that some Pokemon will not breed in their earlier forms, like for example Charcadet will not breed with another Charcadet or a Ditto. It will have to be with its higher evolution. Armarouge or Ceruledge will have to breed with themselves. So Armarouge will have to breed with another Armarouge to have a baby Charcadet. But like I said, you can also breed with a Ditto. So this Eevee over here can breed with a Ditto. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the Masuda method. Now, the Masuda method is when you breed two Pokemon that have different languages. So this Eevee was caught in my game, which is an English version game, so it will have the ENG. So if I got this from somebody else, it would say ENG at the top over there. But if you check the Metamorph here, this is a French one. So it says FRE because it's a French Ditto. I traded a Ditto from my version to somebody else's game who has their game in French, and I got a French Ditto in return. Now, when you breed two Pokemon that have two different languages, or if it's just one that is different from your game entirely, you will have a higher chance of the baby being a shiny version of itself. So this is a great way to get shiny Pokemon if you are shiny breeding. Now, apart from Eevee being able to breed with a female Eevee or a Ditto, you can also breed within an egg group. Now, the egg group for different Pokemon is different kinds. Some of them are very unique. Some of them are very different. Ditto, for example, is its own egg group because it breeds pretty much with every Pokemon besides legendaries, paradox Pokemon, and certain Pokemon that are not able to breed. So I recommend you check up the Pokemon that you're trying to breed's egg group to see what other Pokemon you have for it that can breed with it in case you don't have a Ditto, or if you're looking for one that has better IV stats to breed with. Because ideally, you're looking for Pokemon with as much best IVs as you can get. Now, for example, Eevee is in the field egg group, so you could theoretically breed Eevee with Pikachu. Just as an example, they will breed together. You should know that it is the female that is going to drop the baby though, so in this case, if I had a female Pikachu, I'm going to get Pikachu eggs. So you will need a female Eevee for this to work if I want Eevee eggs. Okay, so before we breed, I want to look at the stats of these two Pokemon. Now, I do not have a good Ditto, unfortunately. It doesn't have any best IVs in any slot. Ideally, you want a Ditto from 5-star raids, or even if you can, a 6-star raid Ditto would be amazing to have best IVs across the board. If you can get 6 IVs on your Ditto, and it's from another language, you probably have to trade for it though, that is the perfect setup for every breeding scenario. In my case, I'm going to have to make another plan work. So if you look at my Eevee over here, my Eevee has best IVs in HP, defense, speed, and special defense, but not in attack and not in special attack. So ideally, I want to try pass these over onto the baby and hopefully get best IVs to roll randomly for attack and special attacks so that I can one day have an Eevee baby that is going to have best IVs in every single slot. Now, the best way to do this is to equip an item called the Destiny Knot. Now, this is going to be in your candy section, in your bags over here. I'm going to show you where you can buy this right now, but let me just go ahead and find it. It is over here, Destiny Knot. Now, what this does is it guarantees 5 of the IVs from the parents to pass down onto the baby. Now, typically, without this, the IVs would all be random. So every single baby you would have would be random IVs, unpredictable. You wouldn't be able to tell what it has. But in this case, I want to bring at least 5 guaranteed IVs from both of these Pokemon and hope that it picks the best ones from this Eevee over here so that we can continue with better IV Pokemon. Now, apart from the Destiny Knot, you also get items called power items that can actually pass down a specific IV stat in particular. I'm not actually going to use one right now, but for example, you can see the Power Bracer, Power Belt, Power Lens, Power Band, Power Anklet, Power Weight all have a different stat that they work with. For example, here the Power Bracer allows the attack stat to grow more quickly when you use it, which actually for raising your EVs. But in this case, when you're breeding, this, if I put this on the Ditto, it will guarantee the IV of the Ditto to be on the baby, but only the one for attack, which in this case I don't want because the Ditto doesn't have any one. If the Ditto had a best IV that was different from the EV one, like for example, if the Ditto had a best attack IV, I would want to use the attack bracer, the power bracer on the Ditto so that it passes down that best IV onto the baby of EV so that I know I'm going to have a best IV there, and it's going to save me the trouble of trying to get best in all the slots. Now, in case you're wondering where to get the Destiny Knot and those power items, the place you're going to get it from is actually by the school, the Mesagosa. Now, this store is available around the world, but this store in particular is the only one that sells the Destiny Knot. So in the school over here, if you look where I am right now at the bottom right here, next to the right testicle of the school, there is a store here called Delibird Presents, and when we go here, this is going to be this store over here with the Delibird. It looks like a Santa Claus store. We're going to go inside here and you can buy all the items you need here. So in battle items, if you just go like one arrow up, you'll see the very final item in here is the Destiny Knot that you use. So you can buy it here for 20,000 Poké to use for your Pokemon breeding. Alternatively, you can go to General Goods and you can go up and you can see here the power items are all here. Now you should know that these are sold at every single Delibird Presence. It's only the battle items that are different between every store. Now you'll notice here above the power items is the Everstone item. The Everstone item is one that when a Pokemon holds it, they will not actually evolve, but in breeding, the Pokemon that holds an Everstone will pass down its nature to the baby. So in some cases, you actually breed one Pokemon with a Destiny Knot and the other Pokemon with an Everstone so that you get the guaranteed nature for your baby Pokemon as well as the IVs that you're trying to get so that your Pokemon always have that nature and then you're just trying to get the best IVs across all the board. So make sure you know what nature your Pokemon needs to have, because each nature affects your Pokemon stats in a very drastic way. For example, the nature of my Ditto over here, as you can see here, represented on my IVs, has an increase to my special attack by this little red up arrow, but a decrease to my defense, indicated by this blue down arrow. And this one has a nature of mild, as you can see just below the stats as well. And if I go to the EV, you'll see here the nature hardy has no effect on any of the stats, but in some cases you might want a higher attack and a lesser special attack for Pokemon that only do physical attack damage and their stats are mainly into normal attack instead of special attack. It's so that you can get a much higher attack damage out of your Pokemon. The next location is how to get a specific item that we're going to be using to pass down egg moves or picnic moves in Scarlet and Violet. Now this item is required for this and you can find it over here in Cascarafa, which is to the left of the Great Crater of Paldea, right over here by Asado Desert, this little water gym area. Right at this location here, there is a Delibird Presence store, and like I said before, all the items are different between these stores. For the battle items, you're going to go in here, battle items, and you'll find the Mirror Herb. It's right over here. The Mirror Herb is required to teach your Pokemon an egg move, even if it's from a Pokemon that is not in its egg group. It's actually really easy. It's quite cool. Okay, so now that you know where to get all those special items and we've explained everything, we're going to now put it into practice and show you how it works. So what we're going to go do is with the Ditto and Eevee in our party, now the Eevee has the Destiny Knot and the Metamorph doesn't carry an item because we don't know what nature we want just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a picnic, and you obviously need a flat area of land, and you should know is that Ditto in your party can breed with multiple Pokemon in your party as well. So ideally, if you're focusing on one Pokemon, have it just be Eevee and Ditto and the rest of your party is empty. Otherwise, Ditto is going to breed with every other member of your party, which is quite crazy. So once you're in the picnic here, now these two will automatically be breeding, but we actually want to speed up this process, and we can do this by making a sandwich. Now there's 3 sandwiches I recommend making. The first one is sandwich number 12. It's called the Jam Sandwich. It has an egg or meal power of egg power level 1. It's a very basic one. It requires jam and strawberries. But if you want a higher egg power, which means the eggs spawn faster into the basket and also hatch quicker, I believe as well, I heard somewhere, you can make sandwich number 17, the Great Peanut Butter Sandwich, which is really good. It requires bananas, peanut butter, and butter, gives an egg power of 2. Now the same as sandwich number 25, great marmalade sandwich, which is just requires cheese, marmalade, and butter, which also gives an egg power of 2. Does not really matter which one you make. I'm going to make an egg power level 2 one though. So go ahead and make the sandwich. It's just 3 banana pieces. I mean, it's just most delicious sandwich ever. I'm pretty sure you guys would eat it. You don't even need the top right. It's cool. And we're going to put the little pin over there. Cool, great. Now your beautiful sandwich masterpiece, 5-star Michelin star recipe of the ages, the Millennium Falcon, is ready for you to eat. Okay, so now that you've eaten the sandwich, all you have to do is honestly just AFK. You just wait. Now with the egg power level 2, it will be super quick. Now, I'm going to teach you a tip that you don't really need for egg power. Just something you should know is that if you enter Picnic and you press the right arrow on your D-pad, you'll see active meal powers lasting for 30 minutes. It starts for 30 minutes. It already is there. So you know you have egg power level 2 for 30 minutes. So do keep that in mind. That also applies for all the other effects in case you didn't know how to track this effect in the overworld. So just the right arrow opens that up. Let's go ahead and re-continue our Picnic. The egg power is still active, so don't worry. We'll go in here and they will still have the same effect of breeding the eggs at the same amount of time. Now, one thing you should know is that this basket over here that has the eggs over time has a limit of 10. So you cannot get more than 10 eggs in one sitting. Now, just know that different Pokemon that you're breeding sometimes take longer to put in eggs than others, but it's been maybe 1 minute right now, and there is an egg in there, and there is another egg in there, and there's only 2 eggs. So you can see there, it was basically 2 eggs for 1 minute. That means probably every 30 seconds is an egg. Probably less than that, but you just have to wait maybe a few minutes just to get all those 10 eggs. Okay, so I've got a few eggs now. I'm not going to wait too much longer. I'm just going to use those 5 to try get an Eevee female that we can start breeding with. So if we go to our boxes here, you should see all the eggs will go to our box immediately. Now, there's one thing you should know is that we need a Pokemon with an ability that is going to help us here. Now, this Carkol has the ability Flame Body, but the same works for something like Magma Armor, and I think there's another one as well. I forget its name, but Flame Body and Magma Armor, if you have these on any of your Pokemon, you should use these in your party to reduce the time needed to hatch the eggs, which means you don't have to run around as long. Now, some people did say that this is not a thing of this game, but I tested it beforehand and I did note that when I hatched 5 eggs without Flame Body, it took me 2 minutes to hatch the eggs. But with a Pokemon with Flame Body in your party, it takes 1 minute. So it almost takes double the time to hatch the Pokemon if you don't use Flame Body. So you can hatch the eggs in half the time if you use Flame Body or Magma Armor on a Pokemon in the first slot of your party as you run around. So just go ahead and put eggs in here and let's go hatch these. So you can see all the eggs are in the party and we're just gonna go get on Koraidon and we're gonna go run around for about a minute. Or you can do the good old sword and shield method where you run in a circle. And there we go, an egg will spawn on the ground and we will be hatching an egg. A Pokemon Eevee egg right over here. And there we go, is our first baby Eevee. And now we can continue running around and let the other eggs hatch. Okay, so all the eggs are done hatching. You can see here in the party, we have a bunch of Eevees. We have 4 males and 1 female, just exactly the odds that we said that the females are so rare. So if we go into our boxes view, we can go look at the IVs of these. Now you can see here, this Eevee has 1 best in speed. Now this is a male though. It needs to be better than our original male, which has 4 best IVs. So we're probably going to look at the female one here. And you can see the female has the best IVs in speed and special defense, which is 2 higher than the Ditto had that we first tested with. But it's also 2 corresponding ones that we have on our normal Eevee, special defense and speed. But remember, with the Destiny Knot item, it's going to pass down 5 IVs from both the male and the female Pokemon, both Pokemon. So if it does pull from speed or special defense, it will always be best because the best in speed and best in special defense are both the same on each side. Now that is only if it uses the Destiny Knot and it picks that stat in particular from each of these Pokemon. So in theory, what we're going to do is move the male Eevee over here, and we're going to move the other babies out that we aren't going to use so that it's just the male and female Eevee in the party. Just like this over here. So we got the Eevee over there with the Destiny Knot and the other Eevee with the 2 best IVs, and we're going to breed those for another 5 eggs until we can get a new female or a new male that has better IVs than either of those. And essentially, you're just going to repeat this process over and over until you have an Eevee with all the best IVs that you need. So you're basically going to continue this process until your Eevee has best IVs in all slots from a baby, and then breed it with an Eevee with a nature that you want with an Everstone, so they pass down the right nature, or you can use adamant mints and whatnot to do so. So let's talk about egg moves. Now, egg moves actually works super simply. Now, remember at the beginning of the video, we talked about the Mirror Herb. Now, you're going to put Mirror Herb on the Pokemon that you want to learn an egg move. So give an item to hold, and we're going to give this Eevee over here the Mirror Herb item right over here. So it's going to hold that item. Now, one other thing you need to do is go into its summary, and you need to make sure on its move screen here that it has an open spot. So we're going to make it forget a move. Let's make it forget Swift for now, just so that it has an open move. Now, you should know that every Pokemon has certain egg moves that they can learn. They can't just learn any move that you want them to learn from other Pokemon that they don't normally grow up learning. They have a list, and you can use this site over here. It's linked in the description down below. You search the Pokemon's name, and you can see what moves are available in its egg moves that it can use. For example, Eevee doesn't normally learn Yawn, but we can teach it Yawn by giving it an egg move from another Pokemon. And in this case, I'm going to use this Pokemon over here, Slacking. Now you can see this Pokemon knows Yawn, Slack Off, False Swipe, and Thunder Wave. Now, to make this easier, I'm going to remove the other moves by forgetting them one at a time, but don't worry, you can remember these moves afterwards. They will be in the remember remove function, which is right over here. So you can always remember the moves and add them back in. So you can see Slacking has Yawn, Eevee has 3 moves and an open slot for the 4th move, and the Eevee is holding the Mirror Herb. Now all you have to do is make a picnic. Everything is a picnic these days. You just gotta make a picnic and move on. And now all you have to do is just let them like play around and just, let them chill and hang around with each other within the thing over here. I got a friend request, interesting. So let your Pokemon play a bit, throw down a ball, just let them just hang out for a little bit here. And then you can pack up the picnic and be done. And your Eevee should learn the move. So if I go onto Eevee here and we check summary, Eevee now has the Yawn ability, the Yawn move right at the very end there, as you can see, which it took from the Slacking. And that is how egg moves or picnic moves work in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you with breeding your perfect Pokemon or getting a shiny Pokemon. And thank you so much for watching this video.